Hi. So it's now becoming very apparent there are a lot of discrepancies in the whole Lucy Letby case, the trial, the investigation, how this was managed within the hospital. Carl Perkins and Mark Mays, they've both done some really good videos on this, so please give it a watch. And they talked about an article recently by the Daily Mail, which is showing or reporting that there were quite a lot of collapses at the Countess of Chester Hospital, and quite a lot of them Lucy Letby was not present for, and in fact the worst ones she actually was not present for, which is pointing really towards it really is raising doubt about whether she ever murdered anybody. So basically the way information has come out about what has happened, how this has been investigated, recorded, whatever, from day one, this is honestly just getting weirder and weirder. So in my last videos I talked about Karen Rees giving her testimony at the Thirlwell inquiry, and she talked about just not being given information when the consultants, mainly Breary and JRM, had concerns about a nurse. She just wasn't told at all, and eventually she was told, but then she was given no evidence whatsoever to back this up. The nearest she got to any evidence, I think, was Breary having a gut feeling and a drawer full of doom, which he wouldn't let her look at. So it makes me question what on earth is going on here. And she herself said, look, if they had these concerns that Lucy Letby was harming and murdering babies, why did they not act sooner? Why did they sit on this information and just not tell anyone for, I mean, it would have been going on for about a year. So in June 2015, this was the time of the first 3 deaths. Now, I've taken this actually from the BBC. This is when Breary actually first mentions something, and he says, "Not nice, Lucy." Now, I'd always thought that was Dr. Gibbs who'd said that, but it is actually quoted in the BBC, on the BBC website, as Breary having said that. So this is brought up at quite an early stage. And then in August of 2015, now I've spoken about this in my last video, Dawn Erin Powell, she is asked to produce this infamous chart, and as I've said before, that is a very strange looking chart. It almost looks like it's been constructed rather than actually put down as a real graph, because suddenly you got this line of X's, which is Lucy Letby's and hers alone, and then you got sporadic X's from the other nurses, not the doctors, mind, because the doctors were taken off, they were not presented at trial, so only the nurses. So, you know, why was such a weird looking chart produced? You know, who produced it? How was it produced? Because honestly, it looks like it's been made up out of thin air, it does. So, I mean, by this time, I wonder if this was mentioned to Aaron Powell to maybe gaslight, to maybe sow doubt, to maybe look at Lucy Letby, you know, in a different sort of way. Because, I mean, remember, she was actually considered a competent nurse. She was liked, she was respected at the time. And then we have Karen Rees. She's approached by Ms. Townsend, Karen Townsend, who has had coffee with Dr. Jairam. So this is actually on June the 24th, 2016, so a whole year later. Karen Rees is approached by Karen Townsend, who's had coffee with Dr. Jairam, or Dr. Jairam has taken her for coffee in the hospital, and expressed concerns about Lucy Letby. So that is just completely weird to, you know, to sit on this for a whole year and then basically gossip over a coffee. And this is when Karen Rees goes to see Dr. Breary and Dr. Jairam, and she's met with Dr. Breary with his gut feeling and his drawer full of doom. And I think the expression cloak and dagger is actually used. So, I mean, it almost looks to me as if a whispering campaign has actually been deliberately set up against Lucy Letby, and I'm wondering really why. That is just weird. If you had concerns about a member of staff, you wouldn't do this over a coffee. You would do this through the proper channels. So, and I'm going to come back again to Dr. Jairam's interview, the one where he talks about baby K, where he says this is burned indelibly onto his memory, or was it etched, or whatever. Now he uses hand gestures, indicators, when he's talking, and this is a little bit unusual for him, because he doesn't normally do that. Now, hand gestures like that, they normally, or they very often indicate honesty, especially when you're showing your palms to someone. Look, officer, I really didn't do it. So often they will, or someone is, it can be someone trying to place an event like this, saying, no, I was over there, the biscuits are over there, I definitely didn't take them. So a hand gesture like that will enhance what you say, it will add to what you're saying, but in a way it will also replace what you're saying. So it's making things a lot simpler. Dr. Jayaram's hand gestures are a bit more intricate when he's talking about, well, the monitor was, I looked at the monitor and it was off. There's a bit more intricacy going on there, and he's using more words, and that actually struck me as that's a little bit unusual, and it kind of gave me the impression he was describing something that he was preparing, or a situation that he was preparing to walk into. It felt like that, rather than him describing something that had happened or something he had encountered. Now, we obviously know that this the situation with the alarms not working, that did happen, and he was there. I'm just saying this is how it feels in the way that he described it. So immediately, once they've got Lucy Letby, you know, off the ward and out of the hospital, what happens then is that the hospital or the unit is immediately downgraded to so that they don't take the sickest babies, and this just all looks, I would say the whole way this was carried out from start to finish, this looks completely cynical to me. Now, I've seen on some comments that they did this because Lucy Letby was a whistleblower. I'd be interested to know when was she blowing the whistles? Was it before June of 2015 or after? Because that could make a difference as to whether you know, they wanted her off the ward and it was a personal issue, or whether this was just something, there was something else going on because someone has I think it was Carl, I apologise if it wasn't you, Carl, but someone has already mentioned that the hospital, I believe, was being sued. So was this something completely cynical? You know, was this was she a diversion? You know, some people have said she was a patsy, she was stitched up. I am seriously wondering just how cynical this might have been, actually. So yeah, I'll wrap it up for today. Please like, subscribe, hope to see you in my next video.